Hello guys. So, okay, bit of a test here. I'm trying a streaming software that I used to use years ago, and I want to know if this is working by any chance. What's the sound like? Let me just fill the screen up. Actually, that's not working too well, is it? No, that's just... Okay. Alright, so this... Oh, sweet. Alright. Oh, yeah, I don't know what happened before for some reason. I don't know if there's a plugin on the web browser. I searched through the web browser. I had a look to see if there's anything that's taken over. What about the sound? To me, it's showing that the sound is clipping on the software for this streaming app that I'm using. Is there any background hissing noise? Can you hear any background noise, or is it coming through clear? I'd like to be able to start doing some live feeds and based from at home here, but I think I'm going to have to update this camera by the looks of it. This camera is probably this USB camera that I've got here. At the time when I purchased it was very good, but that's probably 20 years ago. It's amazing, it actually still works. That's all good. Alright, awesome. Okay, so that's good then. That means that I should be able to start doing some live feeds of late. I don't know what you see on screen. Is there blue on either side? I'm not sure. I really haven't ever tried this software yet, so we're kind of just mucking around here and seeing what can be done. Oops, I probably shouldn't click on too many buttons if I don't know what they're doing. Dark Matter by VBI sources. What's all these sources? Let's give this it's working but distorted image, not wide enough image, and stretched vertically. Sounds clicking. Okay. Yeah, I thought so, because it seems to... Wait a minute, what if I turn this down? Hang on. Is that any better now? Does that sound any better now? How is that? And, okay, what about... The mic probably needs update and upgrading. Yeah, I think it's a mic that's built into the actual USB camera that I'm using that's some 20 years old. It may pay. I might have to jump in the car and go buy myself a new USB camera. So I might have to go and shoot off down to Officeworks in preparation for tonight. By the way, guys, I'm going to be on one of the guests tonight on Mr. Buckarooni's YouTube channel. There's going to be 4 of us on there, including Buck, myself, Snorky from Australian Camping and 4 Driving, I think it is. Snorky is known by Buck, calls him Snorky. And Steve from FJ Camping and Touring. So it's going to be 4 of us on a live feed on Mr. Buckarooni's channel tonight from 7 PM. So I'm sorting out my computer side of things, trying to get up a good image as such. But it's probably going to be... I don't know, is the video good enough? I mean, it's not a wide format. It's probably, my guess is that this camera is not in wide format. This camera is so old that it's still in the old 4x3 format. That gives you an idea how old this is. But hey, the main thing, blue on either side, was clear when you expanded it before. Okay, yeah. I expanded it out, but I noticed it was cropping in on the image, and it's the best, I think, this camera... Well, the best, I think, as far as I know, YouTube can only do live feeds at 720p. It cannot go any higher. It can't do it in proper full HD. So, but I'm seeing if there's anywhere here that I can, so what's all this media source, add media. So I might be able to add media. So suggest MP4s, movie files, AVIs, MP3s. Okay, so that's all. I can't add image. Here we go, image. Add source. I'm just trying out a few things here, guys. Add a new source instead. Image. Please select. Okay, name the source. Add source. Image file. Browse. Let me see. Let's just try something different. See if this works. So I don't know how I can test this without actually being live on air. So let's give this a shot. Alright. Done. Has that added an image by any chance? Can you see that? Is that coming up? Yeah, that's what I reckon too, Tyler. I reckon a new camera and microphone and I will be all good to go. So what I might do is, before it's too late, shortly I might shoot uptown. I might do a little bit of reviewing online and see if I can find a decent camera. Sweet. Alright. So that appears to be working then, does it? Alright, so it's bizarre that this actually works here, but going through the YouTube itself just keeps to be wanting to. I don't know if you watched my attempts before. There was no footage whatsoever. For some strange reason, the YouTube seems to be looking for that software that I had on that I spoke about too when I used it once for my Sony camera. Now I could easily just go grab my Sony camera, plug it in this and use that, but I don't want to start using my real good camera just for live feeds as such. So yeah, how about the sound? Is it still clipping? Because I've gone into the settings here and I've turned it down a bit. We can see that, good. So, but then the thing is, now that I've got this camera actually working, the only thing it's probably limited to, it's not in widescreen, it's in this format. But the quality, is it worthwhile me buying another camera if it's not going to be better quality? I mean, I'm not going to go buy another camera just for the sake of having full screen. Whereas if I use this app here, this Streamlabs desktop that I just updated, install. I had it on my computer for a while. I used to tried using it a while back and I could never figure out how to use it, but maybe this new update they've made it a lot easier to use. So yeah, which seems to be pretty good. Everything looks to be laid out pretty well. Looks like I can actually add different sources. This is something I could probably do beforehand, is add different sources. So I'm just going to go here to add another source, which can be another video, can be another camera, so to speak. Browse. So let's see what else have we got here. Seeing I've got that one of the vehicle. There we go. Check this out, guys. When I went to, some of you have probably know, I'm just covering my face for a little bit here. Some of you have probably know that I recently been over to Fraser Island. And while I was Fraser Island, I met up with before the trip, I actually met up with an old mate. One of my best mates of 30 years ago. And we used to go travelling a lot together. And he used to come with me to, I had the Range Rover at the time you see it's on the right hand side, it's probably on the left hand side on use. Well, What if I upgrade your monitor with a built-in camera and microphone? The monitor, no, I don't want to upgrade the monitor. I've got a really good, decent monitor here that I use for editing photos and me footage. Supposed to be true to colour. Very expensive at the time when I purchased it, although it didn't cost me a lot at the time because I was running a computer business and I bought it at cost price. And it is, woo, you probably can't even see me hand. This is a huge monitor. It's a widescreen. It's about, I think it's a 36-inch computer screen or something. So at times you might see me turning right over here. I've got to turn my head that far to look at the left. I've got to turn my head that far to look at the right hand side of the screen. I kid you not, guys. That's how, and it's really close to me. Actually, it's about a foot away. It's about a foot away, so it's ideal. Probably a foot and a half ideal for me reading glasses. So that's the edge. I'm looking at the edge now. I'm looking at the right, so you can see me. That's how big the screen is. So it's this humongous wide screen. So it's got built-in speakers in it, which I use, but there's nothing else to it. That's it, just built-in speakers, just one big screen. Love it. We reenacted this trip across the Wynyard Creek. This is crossing the Wynyard Creek. So the one on the left, that's just recently, about 4 weeks ago. The one on the right, that's when I used to have the Range Rover, and it's not that long ago that I sold that. I wish I didn't sell it, because that thing now is worth a few pennies. As I found out, I sold it for like $5,000 when I sold it. And now, guys, I probably could have got $40,000-$50,000 for that. Because I left it stock. I never added anything to it. I left it stock. And why do you need to add anything, mate? Stock, everything's stock built in that thing. It's just built like a truck. That thing is just unbelievable. Loved it. My favourite all-time 4-drive that I've ever owned is that it's a 1977 Range Rover. Now the only reason I sold it, guys, is because of the cost of petrol and because of the cost of rego. Now of course when I first bought that, petrol back then was only about 60-70 cents a litre, and the V8s in those Range Rovers, mate, on Fraser Island, you could actually sit there as you drive and you can see the needle moving. You can actually see it moving. I kid you not. Fuel economy just doesn't exist. Okay? It just just drinks fuel like you wouldn't believe. Those V8, those alloy V8 Range Rovers. They had the twin Stromberg carbies in it that I used to tune myself all the time. I tuned it all the time. Whenever I took it up to a garage somewhere, no one could ever tune that thing for me, guys. I used to get it back and it used to be a lot worse. So I learned how to tune it, and I used to tune it myself. And it got to the point that because it was no electronic ignition, nothing like that. The carbies were just, like no electronics, nothing. There was no electronics in this, guys. It had a battery just so the thing could start. That's it. That's it. But that's what I loved about it. I used to go to remote areas, and if I had an issue, I could fix it. No problems at all. I could fix it. None of these electronics. I mean, I love these new cars now. This Pajero, this thing is awesome. I love it. But I tell you what, I still wish I had that old Range Rover, eh? I'd love to travel with it. It's just everything designed about it. You didn't have to change anything on it. The seats, it's the most comfortable seats. The way you sit, it's so relaxing. The arm height is just this big steering wheel it had on it, and it had power steering, no aircon. But it had these windows on the side, these little quarter windows. So some of you probably remember we used to be able to turn. And as soon as you got a bit of speed up, it's just like an aircon. It's just the wind just blows. So just a perfect design. The suspension in it was unbelievable. The wheel travel was just incredible. I didn't do anything fancy to it. I left it all stock, as I mentioned. Stock size wheels, tyres, the whole works. But boy, that was a fuel guzzler. And that's why I sold it. It's the only reason I sold it. But in hindsight now, I should have just kept it, parked it in the garage and just left it there. I had no idea they were going to get it, be as rare as they were, and end up being 40, 50. I probably could have sold that thing for $50,000 nowadays with the condition the way I had it in. All original, the whole works. You can see there it's the original colour, the paint and so on. So yeah, I love that thing. I always love to be able to track it down to see wherever it went to, what happened to it. That was awesome. Now I still love my Pajero. My Pajero would be the second vehicle that I love the most of all the 4 drives I've owned. That thing is just so good on fuel. It's a 4-cylinder turbocharged diesel. Awesome on fuel, and just as well with the cost of diesel nowadays. It does use a bit of fuel on the island, guys. It does use, when you put in 4 drive and you're driving through that soft sand, it gets up to about the 16 litres, 17 litres per 100k on the island. About average is what it uses. But once you're on the highway, even with the rooftop tent and that on there, you're looking at 9.5 litres per 100 k's to 10 litres per 100 k's. Depends which way the wind is blowing. You wouldn't believe it. It does make a difference which way the wind. If you've got a tailwind pushing you, blowing you along, it uses less wind. And depending which way I go to, whether I'm going north or south, one direction seems to use more fuel than the other. Just the environment and so on. Around town, you're looking at city driving, looking around 13 miles per gallon or so. That Range Rover, the best I ever got out of it was probably about, I think I used to get about between 8 to 10 miles per gallon at Fraser Island, and around about 13, 15 driving around town. And I think the best I ever got it at on highway driving was about 20 miles per gallon, and I've been told that that wasn't too bad. That was pretty good fuel rate for that as well. Am I still online, guys? Am I still on air? Because I haven't seen any comments here for ages, and it's only shown there's 7 viewers. 7 viewers. Oh! Like I said, this is just a test. Shall I get rid of... Hang on, how do I do this? How do I get rid of this? Wait a minute, guys. I'm just going to work out how the world I get rid of this footage so you can actually see me. If I click on that. Oh, hang on. That's something. Alright, so how do I delete that? Image. Oh, let's just drag it over here. I've got no idea how you work all this. I need to do some studying and work on this. Still on there. Oh, cool. That's good. Still working. 6 people. Oh my gosh, I bored someone though so much that he actually left. That's shocking. Probably why I never ever hardly do any live videos. I'd like to get into doing some live footage and that, but it just never seems to. My channel just don't seem to catch on that. Same with my trip reports, guys. Most of my viewers out there seem to all like the reviews that I'm doing, which I need to get back into. I've got a video I want to work on in continuation for... I'm going through my YouTube channel to see what the really popular videos are. And there's one that's really been kicking off of late. There's the one that I filmed about a year ago when I was looking for a lithium battery to use. Their echo. There is an echo, is there? I don't know why there is an echo. That would have to be so annoying, I would imagine. Let me try a different mic. Okay, I'm just going to turn this mic off and try another mic. Alright, USB. What's this USB one? I probably shouldn't click on that. Alright, I'm probably just going to have to go uptown and buy a new camera. So I might log off this shortly. Hang on, is that any better now? I'm turning this mic pickup rate down. Is that any better? Static from mic. It's good that you guys are letting me know this, because that's why I'm on here. I'm actually testing this out to see how this works, if I can clear this up. It's a shame. I did on the live video tonight that I'm going to be doing with Buck from Mr. Buckaroony. So that's made no difference, eh? Yeah, okay. Alright. I guess might have to seriously look at go uptown, do some research. I think what I'll do now, it's 1:30. I'll go and do some research and go look for a decent little mic, not a mic, new camera, so I can use, and go from there. Because from what I'm seeing, what Paul said, sound is crap, static. Yeah, okay. Alright, I'm thinking that may have something to do with this Streaming Labs. Alright. Audio scratchy. What happens if I click on this? Click to switch off. Click on this, filters. Performance mode. Filters, edit filter. What do we got? A filter for the sound? Nothing comes up. It's got to add a filter. Okay. Well, I might go log off now then. And go look for a new camera. And test it out tonight, shall we? So, video is clear. Alright. Well, it's good to know at least the video is clear. Is the resolution okay? That's what I want to know. How does it look on a bigger screen? I don't want to go and spend money on a USB camera if the quality is no better than what I've got now, because that's just throwing money away. But yeah, what I was saying before, actually, that video where I've looking at my choices on which lithium batteries have really taken off in the last 6 or so months, and I filmed that about a year ago. So I want to do a continuation of that. Now the technology has actually changed a fair bit since and there's some better options out there. And I'm still using the single 100, well, I call it 105. They class it as 120 amp. What's it called? The company in Perth that got me battery. Oh my gosh. Geez, I don't even think about it anymore. The 120X or whatever. What is it? Kick-Ass? No, not Kick-Ass. So I can't even think what the maybe ask Bucko how to fix it. Ask Bucko how to fix a computer. Hey, good one. I love that one. I don't know if I should ask Bucko. We should ask Buck how to fish. I wonder if he's going to do any fishing lessons. Oh, so I'm not here to tease back, but I love it though. He bites too. He's good at fish. I've met him a couple of times. iTech World, that's the one. iTech World. I'm still using the single 105. They call it 120X, but it's a 105 amp battery, guys. It's not a 120X, it's 105. Okay, so I set it in the software as a 105 because you go into the settings and they'll tell you. I thought they'd get you a laugh out of that. Buck, I tell you, he's good bait. He bites. Now I go fishing for buck. He bites sometimes when I tease him about fishing. He bites back. Should see some of the comments I get back. It's hilarious, man. It is so freaking funny. But I don't want to tease him. I don't want to tease him anymore. Guys, he'll go out there one day and he'll catch a decent fish. He'll get it. Just a bit unlucky. He's got the boat. I mean, with that boat, it should be literally, a fish should be just about jumping in the boat, particularly in that area up north where he is. That's not as outfished as what we are here, although we did really well when we went to Fraser Island. Boy, geez, did we get on to the fish there. It was the first time I went fishing in 3 years, and I haven't been back fishing since. Fishing's not really into me, I'm not really a fisherman. I get bored. It's okay when you're catching fish, that's alright, but even then I got bored. The best thing was about it is knowing that the meal I was going to eat. I love fish. I love crabs. I love oysters, stuff like that. Never used to, but just really love eating. So that's the best part. That's the only reason I go fishing. It's not a sport to me. It drives me insane. I hate it. I wouldn't call it a hobby. I don't like fishing. It's boring to me. But I'd go fishing to catch a feed, and as soon as I got a feed, I'm out of there, man. I'm going home. I don't like it. So I did a fair bit of fishing on Fraser Island, so it's not one of my best trips. I don't go there to go fishing. Because I can just go fishing here. It works out to be quite an expensive trip if you want to go to Fraser just to do a bit of fishing. So yeah, no, that's not for me. See if I get these. Whoops. Try to get these. Just filling up the side of the screen here with some of these 2 photos that we. Winya Creek, crossing the Winya Creek. The bottom one in my Range Rover is about 25 years ago. Probably even longer than that. The top one is about a month ago. And this is in the same spot. The photo was taken on the same spot on the Winya Creek. So it gives you an idea. Especially if I go down on this one to see the difference in the vegetation in the last 25 years. You can see there. So the left banks has certainly eroded since what it was like back 25 years ago. You got to get to Officeworks, Phil. I know. Well, do I need to go Officeworks? I don't want to go and buy a camera and then bring it in and plug it in and then find it's the same quality. Although the sound, the sound is the issue. And I don't think it's going to rectify the issue with I think the hiss in the sound is something to do with the settings of this Streamlabs here. What if I turn the gain on? Because no matter how much I turn the gain down, it still seems to have that hissing, doesn't it? I don't think that's going to make a difference, and I don't think buying a camera is going to help me with the issues that I have in trying to use this live feed through YouTube. Because when I was on YouTube before, testing it out on that, although I had no video, but I bet you the sound sounded great. I bet you the sound was actually working. So Yeah, I don't know. Did any of you guys on here now? Oh, we got 12 viewers. Woo! For a long time, we only had 6 or 7. To 11. It just went drop down to 11. Oh, jeez. That's how popular I am, eh? Yeah, no, they get back before on the. Actually, is there anyone on here that were on that quick live videos that I did before to see if the video was working? Can you let me know if the sound was any good then, or was it still having this hash hitch, this screech noise or whatever it is, echo noise in it? I'm keen to know if because I don't think the sound is a problem with the camera. When you talk quietly, it has no static. Really? Oh, okay, that's my so it's like it must be overpowering. Oh well, let me turn the gain right down. Okay, is that any better? Tell me if that's any better. Kitchen Campfire. Hi, how you going? That's a cool YouTube name. I don't know if I've ever seen your channel before. I'll have to click on that and check out your channel soon. Anything that goes kitchen that campfire sounds good to me. Last two feeds today had no static. Yeah, there you go. See, it's to do with this software. It's either an issue on one other area, and I tried to rectify that, and then the issues on another spot. So no sound really. I must. Is that better? I turned the gain down too much. No audio now. All right. What about now? Do we have audio back now? Uh, Now live on your YouTube channel. Just got a message pop up to say that I'm live. No audio. Oh well. Yes, the sound was fine on the other live shows. Okay. Hmm. Okay. What about now? Do we have sound back now? Do we have sound back now, do we? Well, this just confuses too much now. Okay. What about now? Do we have sound now? There's all these different audio settings in here. Desktop audio, USB. Wait a minute, what's this? USB. What about now? Is that better? Too much. Too much still, is it? I'm turning it down and see if there's all these different mixes on here. Sample rate requires restart. Default desktop audio device 2. I don't know. Very little. Okay. Yeah, beats me. If I can ever get this sorted out one day, get this to work, I might actually start doing a few live feeds. I could always just use my phone, but the quality is crap out of the phone when I ever do a live feed and I watch it back. I thought that is terrible, and I've tried to. Now seems fine, really. No feedback. Um, hmm. I've got no idea, guys. I've got no idea what these. It'd be very interesting to see. Well, looks like I might. Maybe maybe the camera is an issue. Maybe it is worthwhile upgrading to a new camera. I don't know. I'll have to have a look. I have to see what's around, what's in stock at the local store here, and go from there. But see, I'm on here live now. I won't try not to stay on too long because I'm going to be on live on Buck with Buck tonight on Mr. Buckarooni's channel. So make sure if you haven't heard from him, do a search for Mr. Buckaroony, and I'll make sure I'll have a shave before then and look half decent. Can't do anything about my grey hair except shed off uptown and maybe get a haircut. Which I might do tomorrow. I think I need a haircut just to hide all this, get rid of all this grey hair. This is terrible, guys. It's shocking. I can't even grow my hair anymore. It just goes all grey and white. So I'll try to look half. No static when I try to talk softly. Okay, I tried to talk softly, and and yeah, going back to what I was saying before, on my videos on choosing and how I got the what's that brand battery, iTech World battery, the 120X. I set it as a 105 amp because when you read the literature and all that, it comes with the battery. It actually says that she set it on a 120 amp. But guys, it's not a 120 amp battery, it's a 105 amp battery. I did tests on it to see what it discharges close down to, and I know other people that have done tests on it as well, and it comes up as 105 amps. So in the settings I set it as 105 amps. That way I get a true, accurate reading. It's okay. What about a dampener on the mic? I don't even... Actually, yeah, there is a mic just on the side here I'm pointing right at now. I'm presuming it's using that mic. Let's try something here. I've got something I can use as a dampener. I'm just curious if I cover that up. Alright, how's that? Hang on, I can't see my screen. Did that make any difference? If I go this way. Okay, it's a bit of a filter right there. Put a sock over your mic. It's kind of a bit like a sock, but it's like a sock for me sunglasses. A little protective case. Is that any better? Let me know how that is. Yeah, so in regards to the iTech World battery, I set it to 105 amp. That way I get an accurate reading on what charge rate that battery is, because if you set it at 120 amps, and you will not get 120 amps out of that. I don't know why they class it as 120 amps. No different. I'll take it off. Sorry about that, guys. Still static. Yeah, when we finish this live feed, I'm just going to delete this. I'm not going to upload it to YouTube because of the quality. I don't want any bad quality sounds, particularly sound. Video I can get away with, but sound is very important on YouTube, so I tried to do my best to get the best quality sound out of it. So hopefully if you can put up with it, and I'll go and log off soon. But yeah, when I bought, and I'm sure a lot of people are under the impression that the iTech World 120X is a 120 amp battery, and that kind of got me excited. I thought, 100 amps. I've always had a 105 amp AGM battery, and it was only usable for like 30 amps out of it, really, if you want any life out of it. Then I got the lithium battery, and boy, what a difference that has made. Even with the setup I've got in my vehicle now, I can still run my induction cooktop, no problems with it, but I've got to keep charge to it every day. So yeah, I've got to charge it every day. So someone's just opened the door, so you could probably hear the TV now in the next room. So it's a bit distracted me then. The TV blasting away, and it's doing the job for me. Even though it's only 105 amps, I just have to make sure I'm just always constantly charging it. See you tonight on Bucko's live feed. Yep, sweet. Good on you, will do. So we only got 6 views on here, so mainly I wanted to get on here just to make sure you got a video going. So hopefully, I connected the Buck before and we did a test, and the video was working fine. He said that he didn't say anything about the sound being off. So I think the sound is just something to do with this streaming app here. It's can't work it out yet. Too technical, guys. Too technical. Not easy to use, these things. So many features on here. You'd have to study how to do all this. Just why the YouTube app is just so simple. Does everything for you. Just, you know, the sound was good. But I'd rather have good sound and no video, or video and bad sound. So one or the other. If I can get the two working fine together on live feeds, that would be awesome. So yeah, so I've been really happy with the iTech World battery. So I haven't really, I've spoken in the past about rebuilding my own battery system, and I still will do one day, I think. But there's no hurry to do it. I don't think I need to do it, because even though it's only 105 amps, it's more than efficient for what I use it for. It does the job. And it keeps the weight down too. So instead of, you know, having, I mean, I got one air fryer there that I cannot run. That is my favourite, that I would like to take with me every time I go camping. But I use it at home now. It will work if I've got shore power. So if I'm at a caravan park or somewhere I've got power, or if I run a generator, it'll work. And the only reason why it's not working is just because the battery itself hasn't got enough continuous draw discharge to run it. So I find that it best to keep the maximum discharge down below 150 amps. Anything above 150 amps, it seems to start running pretty hot. But that could have something to do with the battery terminal connections. So I might have to take them off and give them a good clean and make sure there's no restrictions in there. Could be why, because the Victron gear is getting the temperature recording from the battery on the actual positive pole on the battery, not on the battery itself. So this connector actually connects to the battery terminal, so it's getting the temperatures off the battery terminal. So there could be some restriction there on the connections. Maybe I haven't got it tightened down enough. Maybe there's too many cables on there, although there's only three, I think, three, that's connected to the positive and only one on the negative. So Victron do make a bus bar where then you can just get away with just running the one cable to this bus bar, and then this bus bar you can use the MIDI fuses in it as well. I was considering it, but that was until recently that I've seen the prices have skyrocketed up to about $350 for this bus bar, whereas I'm sure they used to be $220, $230. And I went online the other day to look at maybe possibly ordering one so I can try to get some of the terminals away, because there's 3 terminals on the battery itself. And but then I saw the price of $350. I thought, holy Struth, they've gone up $100 just like that since the last time I saw them. So I don't know if there was a misprint on the price of the website. I need to go to a different website and have a look. I'm sure if I go down to the guys at Solar and Sat just down the road here, they'll do me a pretty good deal. They'll do a better deal than that, but even still, I was expecting only, probably might be paid a couple $100 for one. And when you think about it, it's only going to save me from using one terminal off it. I'm still going to have 2 terminals, 2 leads on the battery. So one that goes from the battery to the bus bar, and I've still got to run that terminal, that lead that records the battery temperature to the positive on the battery. So that's what Victron done. Victron has done where actually, if you buy the probe, the optional temp probe for the Victron BMV 712 battery monitor, it doesn't connect to the battery itself or tapes onto the battery like many of the others does. It actually connects to the positive battery terminal, and it has to go there because it also draws the power to run it from there as well. So it needs that for the power. So you're still going to have 2 terminals to go on that. So actually is paying $350 just to save one battery. So yeah, no, I'll do away with that. I won't need to worry about that. But I know we're coming up to Buck's camping event coming up really soon. It's not too far away. I've been told it's only 2 weeks away, so I'm going to have to pull my thumb out and get prepared for that. I'm going to try to, right now, the way my vehicle is set up, the wiring and everything, although I have tidied it up, I'm not prepared to show it off my electronics in my vehicle, because to be honest guys, the wiring looks like a spaghetti mass. Looks like a whole bunch of spaghetti. It's one thing I'm very good at, putting a 12 volt system together, but I'm hopeless at doing it so it looks really neat and tidy. So I want to, because I have no doubt a lot of people are going to be keen to see this Multi Plus in action, some of the benefits, what it can do, why I went for that setup, how portable it is, how lightweight it is, how it can manage to power all this stuff with just that single 105 amp iTech World battery. I've got two air fryers. One that runs no problems, runs the inverter not the inverter, the induction cooktop no problems. So I would like to show people, the setup, but I want to, within between now and then, I want to go in there and just tidy up the wiring. I think the main problem is a lot of the wires are too long, so I just need to cut them down and just trace them inside, a little pipe or something, and just trace them in so that it's nice and neat, and then it'll be all good, all thumbs up. So it's something I definitely have to get into, because it'd be embarrassing to show you guys what it looks like now. It's a bit messy. But I've got a big board. It's all covered. You can't see it at the moment. but that includes, you can't see the multi-plus as well, unless you kind of sneak your head around to the side. So yeah, I want to do that. That way it looks very tidy and neat. And once I do that, then I can do a YouTube video on it, and then I can explain in a YouTube video why I went for this component over such and such a component. I want to do a video like that. I've been wanting to do a video like that for quite a while, and then show you some of the benefits that some of the features on the Victron Multi-Pluses have. That's really worthwhile considering for your caravan or 4-drive setups. There's a lot of features on there. Yeah, they're not cheap, guys, but you get what you pay for, and to be honest, they're not that much more than what your other offerings are, particularly if you're looking at Red Arc and stuff. In fact, it could be even cheaper than Red Arc, and it's got far more better quality features than what Red Arc has got. Red Arc's great, you know, it's been an Australian company, Australian made and all that, but they're lacking a little bit behind in technology. So I've recently upgraded my 25, well, I've got the Red Arc DC-DC charger, and I had a 1225D, which really wasn't enough. It was good enough for my AGM battery that I had at the time, but it's not good enough for the setup that I got now. It just takes too long to charge. So I had an opportunity to upgrade it to the 1250, the Red Arc 1250D. I was never going to do it. I was going to go to Victron DC-DC and maybe run a couple, because you can piggyback them together. And so when you buy the Victron DC-DC chargers are 30 amp charge rates. I want something that's at least minimum 50 amps. But you can buy two and run them together, and that'll give you like a 60 amp. But this Red Arc came up, and at the time it was a pretty good price. So I thought, yep, I went for it. I still got the 1225D. I'll probably end up selling that, I don't know. And I've used that while I was at Fraser Island, and because we were doing a lot of travelling each day, we never stayed in one spot for more than one night. We're just moving from camp to camp to camp, just chasing the fish. So this camping trip over the Fraser Island I've just done recently was more so for my mate, because he hadn't been back there in something like 22 years. So I went over there and took him over there, and he's a keen avid fisherman, and he was really keen on fishing, so we basically went over there and just fished every day. Not what I normally do, so we did very little sightseeing, in fact, and the whole time we were there, very little sightseeing, apart from just looking at a fishing rod, flicking it right out and looking at the water. So we caught good fish. We ate fish every night. We had a good meal of fish every night. So that was nice, but not my type of camping. For him, he loved it. Absolutely awesome for him. But yeah, no, I'd be happy to go over there without a fishing rod. I prefer it. I mean, I could have a fishing rod, maybe flick the line out, you know, for an hour or two, catch a couple of fish for a feed that night. But that's it. But then go on the 4-drive and go do a bit of bushwalking. Bit of relaxing. I like to find a nice spot to camp and just sit back and read a book and relax as well. I like to do that now. I don't want to go over there just be flat out, bang, 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 go, you know. So I'm keen to head back there again soon, and back to my old way of camping, and that way I'll be able to, you know, try to get more footage. Although trip reports, don't know guys, trip reports don't really do well for me. I've got this series on Fraser Island. The first couple of videos seem to be doing pretty well, but then the after that. Like any other trip reports that I do, people just don't seem to be interested in the trip report videos that I film. The popular videos are the ones like, you know, on the battery, on the electronic stuff side of the things, and I having a bit of an electronic background as well, specialising in electronics, building computers, putting networking together, building, you know, some of the jobs, doing security setups of cameras and so on, custom building computers. You know, I love doing stuff like that and electronics and so on, and it's just setting up the 12-volt systems in my 4-drive. Been doing that the last 6-7 years. I love doing that. It's why it took a long time, but I think I built up to a system that works really well, and it's really lightweight, and that's what I love about being able to get away with just a single 105 amp lithium battery that's doing the job for me. And having the 1250D is a game changer, that red arc, because as we're traveling each day, in no time at all my battery is fully charged. Now I bought a solar panel over there, but I didn't need to use it. I did took it out one day. I took it out one day because I wanted to get some photos of the camp setup with the solar panel on it. So I took it out for that. That's it. The rest of the time it just sat in the vehicle. That 1250D kept my battery charged. And guys, I was running 2 fridges. I was running my mate had an Angle 32 litre that he just purchased. Don't like them, guys. Don't like them. I will never buy an Angle. I just don't like Angles. And I had my Dometic 110 litre upright fridge. I was running that. Now I did not take my induction cooktop. I did not take my air fryer because my mate didn't have a 4-drive at the time. He sold his only a matter of days before he went over to Fraser Island. Why he did that, I've got no idea why. So I had to cut all his camping gear with me, and he didn't have a lot of the camping gear, so I loaned him a lot of stuff that I got here, such as the bunker and all that. So I had to cut all that in the vehicle, and then of course I had no room to put a lot of that other stuff in. So we just brought along a single little portable gas burner to cook on. And that's basically it. So all I could do was just fry. I like to roast meals, you know. I like to have camp ovens and roast and all that, but I couldn't do any of that, so it's just frying. So we just fried chips and ate them with veggies and salads most of the time. So again, that's not my type of camping as well. I had a great time over there, but I was stuffed by the end of the trip because I had to set up all his gear as well because he had a bad back. So yeah, that was a bummer. So I'm pretty happy with my setup the way it's running now. I don't think I really need to upgrade my battery, guys. I don't think I mean, it'll be nice sometimes sit down and think, you know, it would be nice to have a 200 amp, but I don't think I need to update. I don't think I need to spend the extra money. Honestly, these iTech World batteries are awesome so far. This thing just kicks ass, so to speak. I'm really impressed with it, and I only paid like just over $800 for it at the time delivered. I would never pay their full recommended retail price for them. I think it's well and truly overpriced. I reckon they're only worth the $800, $900. I wouldn't spend any more than that on them because they're lacking a lot of features that some other offerings are starting to come out with now. I think there's now some better offerings that are better choices coming out that are actually even cheaper than the iTech World, and they actually have higher discharge rates, and they also offer a Bluetooth. You can connect to it via Bluetooth to check the individual voltages for each cells. having a little bit of background knowledge in electronics, personally myself, I think it's really important that you know what the state of charge and what the state of condition are of each cells in a battery. So your lithium batteries, your 12 volt lithium batteries, has 4 series of batteries that are 3.2 volts each, and they can be either 100 amps, you can get them, or you can get them at 200 amps, or you can get them 150 amps, or you can get some new ones now that are up over around about the 300 amps, of course, but they're still 3.2 volts. So they get connected together in the battery, which makes it to a 12.8 battery. So basically inside there, it's really important, I reckon, that you should know, particularly if you've got a 24 volt battery or you're running more than one battery parallel or series connected together, to know what each cell is doing, knowing what the charge rate of each cell is. And to do that, the only way you could do it without pulling the whole thing apart and checking the individual voltage of each cell, and that's not advisable to do, wouldn't do that, is to have those Bluetooth. Is to have the Bluetooth, so you can, via your app, you can go on there and then it actually tells you what the individual voltage cells are and the condition of those cells. And that's where the iTech world have eliminated that. Now I don't know why they done that, because honestly guys, the cost for these manufacturers, battery manufacturers, to put these together, it'll probably only cost them an extra $10, if that, probably only $5 to put a Bluetooth device in there, so us consumers can check and see what our battery's doing. And that's all it'll cost them. That's it. That's all it'll cost them. So you think they'd be able to spare those costs, but no. They just want to try to make as much money as they can and keep the price down as low as possible. So next time I update the battery, it definitely is going to have something. It won't be an iTech world, because I think it's rated at 175 amps, but I discharge, continuous discharge, but I would never attempt to run it anywhere close to that, because I think it overheats, particularly where I live. Maybe you guys live in a cooler climate, you'll have no problems. The most I would get out of it would be 150. Anything above that, then it really gets hot. But as I mentioned before, that could be a result of some resistance, where it's getting the measurements, the temperature measurement, because as I mentioned, that's why I mentioned before that Victron temp probe gets its temperature from the battery terminal. And if you've got any resistance in your connections, of course, what does the resistance equal? What does resistance give you? It gives you heat. Heat. It gets hot. Hot. So if you've got a battery connector, or you've got too many batteries connected to your battery terminal, or you haven't got your battery terminal cranked down enough, or your battery terminals are dirty before you put them on and you haven't cleaned them properly and so on, then you're going to have resistance build up on there. Now if you're only just using your battery just to run your fridge or something like that, you're not going to have enough resistance build up really to be an issue. But when you want to start running induction cooktops and you've got lithiums, And be frank, guys, what's the point of buying a lithium if you're not going to use it, you know, get the most out of its ability? I mean, they're magic for running induction cooktops. They're magic for running, you know, more than one fridge. Have all your lights and everything like that. The weight in saving weight alone is not, I don't think in some vehicles it's worthwhile upgrading to a lithium unless you really get the, you know, the benefits out of it. If you got a perfectly good AGM battery and you're just running your LED lights and your you know, fridge, and you got no problems with GVM, most people do have problems with GVM, then just stick with your AGM battery. Don't waste your money. Wait till the AGM battery is dead and then go and get a lithium. Mainly to save weight. Even then, it's a big jump in price, you know. You can buy a half decent AGM for a couple $100. Lithiums, yes, you're starting at $800 plus. Excuse me. So that's why I need to check on the wiring, redo the wiring to make sure, and then it'll be interesting to see what sort of, if that makes any difference to the temperature of it, because that's I would have liked to have seen Victron, preferred Victron, if they used their battery connector, their thermometer thing, the temp probe on the battery itself, not on the terminal. Although in some ways that's really good too, because then that's probably it's probably smart thinking really in their way. I mean, it's not going to give you a fair reading really what the battery temperature is, because the battery will be probably cool. If you're drawing really high amperage out of your battery, then your terminals, especially if there's some restriction in there, or you're using too thin a cable or the cable's too long, it's going to build up some heat, and then that's going to register on your apps and, you know, the screen and all that I've got on there. So that is a good thing there, and that's probably the most critical area. You want to know what the temperatures is on your connectors, and that's so it gives me an idea of the, you know, how those connectors are running, so on, how that is. So in some ways it's a really good thing, but it would have been nice if they had another terminal battery temp probe you can stick on the battery case itself and monitor that temperature as well. So having two, that would be ideal. So there is good benefits in having that as well. So, and this once I tidy up, I'd like to talk more about. I'd like to get into some videos and doing some more technical stuff in the video, because that's what a lot of you guys seem to like, and explain the stuff and explain why. But just give me time just to tidy everything up so it looks nice, and I'll try to get it all done before we go to Buck's camping event, so then people can have a look inside and see how it works and what my system is and so on. Now I'm going to be plugged into shore power. I've booked the campsite, so I'll have shore power there. So I'll have my real good induction cooktop, so I'll be able to run that, and you'll be able to see that. As well as, here we are, just got a, speaking of the man, just got a message here, talking about these new, okay, just something new product, just seeing if they've got it in stock. I got 2 items out of the 3, something I'm getting new for my vehicle. It'll come up in a video one day if I end up getting it, but it's not all in stock. So yeah, here we go, another video, another message here. Computer has COVID. Who said computer has COVID? It's not in here, huh? We have the stove. We've had the old design bag, which is just for the stove only. Okay. I'm looking for a really good. I want to get a gas cooker, a portable gas cooker that uses the small canisters. so I don't have to bring a big gas. So that way, in situations like when I go to Fraser Island, you know, or I'm base camping somewhere for a while, because I've only got that single 105 amp hour battery, then if I can just pull out a little single gas, you know, good quality gas cooker that runs on those little canisters, not those portable backpacking ones, or even the jet boil ones where you put a pot on and you'd be lucky for it not to tip over before anything's cooked. They're just so flimsy. You know, something decent for decent base on it. There's a new one out. Primus has come out, not cheap, but it's a 2-burner. It looks really, really good. So I'm looking into that, and I'm thinking about getting one of those. So I may have one of those for the Hubby Bay camping week. I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be awesome. I believe I got to really pull my thumb out and start working some stuff out. I believe I'm going to do a trivia night on a Thursday night or something with Tofty, Snorky, and Steve Fuller. It's 4 of us going to do a trivia night. I think there's going to be prizes. I'm not too sure, guys. You'd have to check with Buck, but there may be prizes for the correct answers. So I've got to think of some questions up to do with camping and so on, touring, whatever, and which will be related to my... I'm going to look at questions that are going to be related to my YouTube channel. So you guys that are following my YouTube channel quite a fair bit, you will know the answers to some of these questions that I'll ask, and if you get them right, I believe there are prizes that you might win. Don't vouch on that, but I think there are prizes. Just ask Buck tonight on the live feed, and so I'm not going to think of some questions about that. It won't be anything too technical like what I spoke on about right now. So guys, there's only 4 of you watching right now, so I'm going to log off now. The main thing, I came on here just to make sure I get my camera to work. I'm going to go to Officeworks and see how much a new camera is and see whether it's worthwhile considering buying another camera, and go from there. Yep. And go from there. So yeah, I'm going to log off now, save me voice, because I'm a bit of a shave, because we're probably going to be on live for at least an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours tonight. Of course it won't be just me talking, it'll be mainly Buck will be talking, and there's going to be 4 of us on tonight, so looking forward to that. So it should be great. Hopefully this damn camera here will work, or I might have a new one. We'll see what happens. Alright guys, cheers. For you 5 people watching, thank you very much.